Hey guys, welcome back to Thorough Capping. It's Dave. I wanted to put together a video tonight. Thankfully, I didn't earlier. Cinnabon canceled, and I did 5 of the races. Yeah, 5 of the races out of 7. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to put together a video that dealt with using your time ahead. The time that you have way before, like for example, Cinnabon for tomorrow doesn't go off until 8:30. So I had an opportunity to look at it to get an idea to analyze the card. What kind of a card is it? Are they handicappable races? How many handicappable races are there? Obviously, the odds will dictate how many races are actually playable. But I found that this whole card was handicapping friendly based on these methods. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you something that I did for a subscriber, Greg. And I want to throw it out there to everybody. When you're handicapping ahead of time and you're using these methods, while you're doing your qualitative notes and your qualitative scan, and identifying things, take the time to determine which races you're going to use for your final or your target rating and your ability rating as well. And simply do that by, find your target rating. Obviously, this first race, 5.5 furlongs. I'm not going to use the 5 furlong race as my target rating when I can reach back one and get a target rating off of 5.5. But then what you want to do is you want to go down here and take your time and scan which of these 5.5 furlong races is going to produce the best ability rating. So you have using 102 as your standard for a 5.5. So we start here. We go, okay, this is a 106 would be 23. 24, that's 26. That'd be a 74. See if we got something better than a 74. We have 15, 19, 77. So when I scan this real quick with my eyes, I see I have a 77. Now, you could go and write, if you go and put the 77 down right away, it defeats the whole purpose of this. But right in the beginning, when you're doing your qualitative scan, just highlight the races and move on, and then get back to the figures portion afterwards. Go to your grid, put in all your qualitative data in your grid over here. I've already done the first race anyway, but this was beforehand. Put your qualitative data in, and then move on to race number 2 and do the same thing. Now again, this race is already done, but let's look at the second race. The second race, I did not do the figures portions yet. I went, I identified, I got a weight allowance here. I got nothing else. Identify the moves. I could identify. I didn't identify. I'm gonna put a. I'm gonna give this horse credit for this 2-length move here. So I'm looking for 2 or more on the turn. Preferably a jump in position too, 6th to 5th or 5th to 4th, whatever. But that's probably as nice as I'll be or generous I'll be as far as a turn move right there. 2 lengths gained, I'll give it to him. But at the same time, again, I identified the target race, and I identified which race I'm going to use as my ability race. And again, how do I know which one I'm going to use my ability race? I kind of got to do the mental math. I got to look and go, okay, 115 off of 108, that's a 35, 37, 38, 39, that's a 61. Here I have a 30 plus another 11, that's 41, that'd be a 59, so that wouldn't be good. And then just go and what do you call it? Strike it. Now, if you're using pen and paper opposed to the PDF editor, it might be beneficial for you just to write it down right then and there. But instead of me having to switch back and forth from tools, it saves a lot of time. I can keep my editor on the highlight tool and not have to keep switching back right now from typewriter tool. And then once I have all of this done, then I go back, and then once it's plotted on the qualitative side of the grid, all the qualitative stuff, now I go back and I just switch to the typewriter function, and now I could just focus on putting my numbers in and figures and doing my calculations. Because sometimes that adds to the time. Having to keep, if you're using the PDF editor, having to keep switching back from highlighting something to now clicking over here and sometimes there's a lag in between when you click one button and the next, and it takes time, and there's a, you know, before the box pops up. You know, when you're handicapping 8, 9, you know, say even 7 races like this here, every time that happens, there's a 5-second lag for every single horse from when you click on the one tool to the next. There's a 5-second lag. You are adding, you add that 5 seconds up times the number of horses that you're looking at. That adds maybe another 15, 20 minutes to your handicapping. So just try this out. Do all your qualitative notes like we've talked about before in the beginning, and figure out, just mentally calculating, what's going to be my target race, what's going to be my ability race, and just highlight them and move on and do the same thing for the next race. So I have this all done here. So now all I have to do is not worry about looking at any other races, because I already did this in step number 1. And let's just do this race real quick. Since I already did race number 1 off a video, now I could go right here and say, okay, I got a 113 is a 25 plus an 8 is a 33. That's a 67 target. Add that to the Briz. That's a 121 target Briz. And then go down to my other race now. 37, 61. Now I pull my final fraction. I'll pull my final fraction off this last race. 13 and 4, 26 and 4. 26 and 5 is a 27 flat. And then I'll do my cum average. I'll use the 55 and the 56 here. That'll be a 55.5. And then move to the second. But what it does, it allows you to, when you go and identify your races, and then identify your qualitative data, and go to your grid and put in all your qualitative stuff ahead of time, what it does, it allows you to come back with a fresh set of eyes now and focus on the calculations. Because it does get overwhelming where you're trying to highlight, and then, like I said before, switch tools and now switch over to math mode and do calculations, and then move on to the next horse, highlight, and then switch over to math mode again and do the calculations. It does get taxing on the brain. At least for me, it does. That's why I always recommend you do your qualitative scan ahead of time. Now I'm recommending that you go and figure out what races are you going to pull your target and ability ratings from. All right, let's check this horse out. We tossed the last race because it was a 7 furlongs. Assiniboia is an interesting track because it's one of the bull ring tracks. It's only a 6.5 furlong oval. So even a 6.5 furlong race is a 2-turn race. So now we're looking at a 6 furlong race, which starts out of a chute. So it's really one long backstretch and one turn. And a 7.5 furlong is actually a 2-turn race. I would rather go to the 6 furlong, go back one, and pull it off of 6 furlongs. So we got 25, 27, 33. That's a 67. 67 plus 65 is a 132. And then we're going to pull our ability rating off of this race. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go and subtract 3 from the from the rating that I get from this, because again, it's shorter, and I want to account for that extra half a furlong that we had here. So we had, or I shouldn't say the extra half a furlong that we're going to run today. So we use a 102 as a standard. That'd be a 25, 29. I don't count the half. That'd be a 71 minus 3 is a 68. So you'd have a 68 ability. Okay, so again, what I did there, whenever today is a 6 furlong race, and all I can pull from is a 5.5, I use my 102 standard, do my math to the finish, and then subtract 3 to try to get the best estimate of what it would be at 6 furlongs. Okay, so now we go to the third horse. At 25, 27, 28 to 72 from 100. 136 when I add them together. And then my ability race is right here, 29. That's a 71. Okay, final fraction, I can pull from either one. So what I'll do is I'll do it mentally real quick, see which one presents a better final fraction to give this horse the benefit of the doubt. Being that the two most recent races. Now, if I was reaching down here, I wouldn't go with this fraction down here. But we have a 13 and 2, 26 and 4. 20, that's a 27 there. And then here we have a 12 and 4, 25 and 8, 26 and 3. I'm going to go with the 26 and 3 for the final fraction. Speed average is a 64, 67. The average of that would be a 65 and a half. See, but like I said, as you get good with your mental math, you'll be able to fly through these. And then using this tip I just gave you is going to cut down even more time on your handicapping. All right, so we have 25, 27, 30. That's a 70. 70 and 60 is a 130. And then 25, 27, 37, 40, 60. The best we could pull was a 60 for ability. I don't want to go and use this 5.5 furlong race, okay, because I have a 6 furlong available to me. Actually, I could. No, you know what? That's right. That's why I didn't use this race, because it was at Lone Star. I like to attract those bull ring tracks. I like to stick with, if I could pull races from them tracks, like a Assiniboia, I want to pull my data from that. All right. Now, what I could do here is I could use this 5.5 furlong for my ability, but I'm going to tell you why I'm not using it. And this is just my preference. Okay, if I used a 102, that'd be a 25, that'd be a 29, 30, 31. That would be a 69. When I subtract a 3, I still get a 66, which is better than a 60. But if you notice, this horse was losing lengths. All right, there was another half a furlong if you compare that to today's distance, 6 furlongs. So I would have used that horse if he was gaining length. So if this was a 2.5 here, and then this was a half here, I would say this horse was trending in the right direction. I would give him the benefit of doubt, but I'm going to use the 70 and the 60 and just live with that. Pull my final fraction, 13 and 2, 26 and 4. 1 length gain, 26 and 5, which is a 27 flat. I do my average. There's a 7 difference here. So that'd be 3.5. That'd be 56.5. Okay, 30. 114 is a 30. 31, 69. 126. And then 35. I don't count the half. That'd be a 65. 13, 27. 3 lengths lost. 26 and 2. 56. And we'll use the 60 here. So we'll go 57 and 60. We'll compare these two. And actually, we might as well, if I'm going to compare a 7.5 here, use a 7.5 here, I might as well use this 7.5, which is a little bit higher. That would be a 57.62. That'd be a 59.5. And again, this is where it comes down to your own personal decision making, what you use. I'm not saying what I'm doing here is right or what I'm doing is wrong. I mean, I should probably use the 2 6 furlong races, right? 57, 56, and not go to the 2 turns, but that gives him a 56.5. I want to try to give every horse as much of a benefit of the doubt as I possibly can without going overboard and trying to fit the whole square peg in the round hole thing. If it doesn't fit, he doesn't fit. Okay, we have 2027, 33, that's a 67, 123, and then 60 off of this race. And that's the best I could get. 47, 56 is 9, so we had 4.5, and that would be a 51.5. And then the 7 horse, 27, 32, 68, 15, 125, and 29, 68. Final fraction, we'll see, we'll pull 13, 2, 26 and 4. That's a 26 and 4, and then this here is a 12 and 4, 25 and 8, 26 and 3, 26 and 3. So we'll go with 26 and 3 here, and we'll average 57, 61. The average would be a 59. And boom, we're done. So I like to go and move to my grid now and plot them. Some of you might decide just to move on and just do them all first and then plot all the races together at one time, which I do sometimes as well. But right now I have 2 races done, and that probably took me honestly probably about 4 or 5 minutes longer than it would have if I wasn't talking and doing this video. If I was just doing it myself, I'd be able to go a little bit quicker. So hopefully this gave you a little bit of insight and will help you guys on cutting down your handicapping time. All right, talk to you soon. I'll post this video later tomorrow before the races begin, the analysis. Talk to you soon.